Prince's song Kiss is an undeniable classic, but did he actually write it? It was his third #1 single, released in 1986, and it gave his already substantial career new life. Did he write it though? It's got that iconic guitar riff, a danceable feel, it's so good. Okay, but did Prince himself actually write Kiss? Today I'm talking all about Prince's hit song Kiss, how different it was when it started, how it became a classic, and answering the question of who actually wrote it. Now, here's the tricky thing about a song like Kiss. I can't play the recording for you. YouTube puts a full block on the video if I do. Most of the time when YouTube detects a copyrighted song, they run ads on it and the copyright owner gets the revenue, not me. But in this case, it's a full block. This video can't be published if I include the recording. There's a great quote that goes, "Talking about music is like dancing about architecture." Well, since I can't play the recording for you, get ready for some architectural dance. Speaking of which, architecture is a pretty good metaphor for this story, and the fact that that quote that I just mentioned was attributed to multiple people works pretty well too. This video's shaping up already. The year is 1985. Prince has already put out albums like his self-titled album, 1999, and Purple Rain. He has also already worked with artists like Sheila E. and The Time. The Time had been created under a clause with his Warner Brothers contract that allowed him to put together other groups and produce them. The Time served as an outlet for music that Prince wrote that he didn't want to release under his own name. By the way, Prince did this a lot. He wrote songs for artists like Patti LaBelle and Sinead O'Connor. The Bangles hit Manic Monday. That was Prince as well. Chaka Khan's 1984 hit I Feel For You was written by Prince and originally recorded by him for his self-titled album in 1979. It's really too bad I can't play the recordings of these because they're so good. Do you think I could get away with an a cappella version? Baby, baby, when I look at you, I'm so warm feeling inside. I'm willing to bet that's the correct key. I feel for you, back up. I think I like waiting. I don't know if it's guitar. Feel for you. It's guitar now. I don't actually know if a cappella versions are okay, but I'll just claim the earbud defense. There's no rule against it. Anyway, the point is, in 1985, Prince was a huge deal. He had some massive hit songs and albums, and had already been writing songs for other artists and helping produce them as well. There's one of these groups that's not as well known, but that you need to know about. Maserati was a band formed in 1986 with MarkBrown, aka BrownMark, on bass. BrownMark played bass for The Revolution, Prince's backup band, most well known for the 1984 album Purple Rain. Purple Rain, Purple Rain. It's not that raspy. I may have just destroyed my voice for the rest of the video. Maserati was signed to Paisley Park Records, Prince's label, and was closely associated with Prince. BrownMark was still in The Revolution, and Prince was working on a new album with them, what would become 1986's Parade. In fact, in April of 1985, Prince was recording at Sunset Sound in Studio A, while Maserati was recording in Studio B. Here's where the architecture metaphor kicks in. Prince had already recorded a demo for a song called Kiss. It featured only acoustic guitar and Prince singing, but in a lower octave than the final version. Man, I really wish I could play this demo for you. No, yeah, I have an idea. You don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. He doesn't quite have the country twang on the demo. Dirty baby, from dusk till dawn. It's, a bad idea. I know you don't believe me, but look it up. Google Prince Kiss acoustic demo and it'll come up. I can't play it in this video, but that's the general idea. You know when you see a house getting built, at first it's just wood frames, a hint of a wall here, a window over there, but the house isn't livable yet. That's basically what the acoustic demo is. The idea of the song is there and you can hear it, but it's very different. Of course, this isn't uncommon. This is how you build a house and how you write a song. You start with an idea, and then you keep producing until it's completed, and then you have a mid-century craftsman that's equal parts style and function. Sorry, leaning too hard on the architecture part there. Apparently, Prince didn't like this song enough to keep it himself, so he passed the demo off to Maserati. Now, here's where our story splits in two. There are two versions of what happened next that ultimately lead to the same place, but it's up to you to decide who did what. The two versions of this part of the story come from BrownMark, the bassist for Maserati and The Revolution, and David Z, producer and engineer from some of Prince's other work, including Purple Rain. David Z's version of the story is that Prince gave him the acoustic demo and he got to work. He started messing around with a Lindrum drum machine, taking the hi-hat and running it through a delay unit, switching input and output in the middle. He then took an acoustic guitar, playing open chords and gating it to the hi-hat trigger. Then Maserati singer Tony Christian sang vocal on top, they added a few more things, and boom! It's pretty much the funky version of Kiss that you know and love, minus Prince. While David Z's version has all the technical information of how he supposedly produced the song, BrownMark's version of the story has the personal side. BrownMark says that Prince gave him the acoustic demo of Kiss, and then he got to work. He rewrote the song, added a beat to it, and while he does acknowledge that David Z was involved, he claims that he essentially co-wrote Kiss. It's impossible to actually know who did what percentage of which thing on the song, and who deserves co-writing credit. Ultimately, neither of them got co-writing credit, but we'll talk about that in a minute. If Prince's acoustic demo of Kiss was the frame of the house, Maserati's version filled in the insulation, the electrical, the plumbing, the drywall, the Lindrum, the paint, the gated acoustic, the light fixtures, and the keyboard parts. Again, I can't play this version of the song in the video, but look it up. It's incredible because it sounds very much like the final version of Kiss, with just 3 exceptions. For one, the vocal's different. It's Tony Christian, and he's singing in the same octave as Prince's acoustic demo. You don't have to be beautiful. I mean, minus the country twang, which wasn't even in there anyway. Knowing the final version, this doesn't quite feel right. For 2, there's no electric guitar, including the riff at the end of the chorus. That's not there, it's just a bar of silence. That doesn't quite feel right either. And for 3, there's bass on it. Look, I know I'm a bass player, so I'm a little biased, and Prince is notorious for not having a ton of bass in his music, but the Maserati version of this song features BrownMark prominently crushing it. The Maserati version of Kiss is essentially 80% the version you know and love. Whether it was primarily David Z or BrownMark is up for debate, but the fact remains that Maserati did the hard work of producing the song and filling out the rest of the house to make it livable. That's what makes the next part of our story such a big deal. Prince essentially swooped back in and claimed squatters' rights on the house. According to BrownMark, when he showed Prince their version of Kiss, his response was, "Are you guys going to dinner right now? Cool, I'll mess around with it, I'll let you know." When BrownMark returned a few hours later, Prince had recorded the guitar part, replaced the vocal with his own, and in my opinion, the worst offense of all, he took out the bass. Prince insisted that this will be better for us, meaning Prince and the Revolution, and while he was disappointed that Prince was taking back the song, BrownMark was excited by the prospect of having writing credit on a Prince song. Prince agreed that he'd give him writing credit, though I think you know where this is going. Prince didn't give BrownMark or David Z writing credit for the song, which was one of the many issues that the Revolution had with Prince. The Revolution disbanded the next year for a lot of reasons. Google that, or maybe don't. Prince had written songs for other artists before, but this is the first time he changed his mind and took the song back. This is kind of like how the Soulquarians passed around songs between D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, and Common, but a little more malicious. By the way, to hear more about the amazing story of Questlove and the Soulquarians, click here. When Prince's label, Warner Brothers, first heard Kiss, they hated it. They said they thought it sounded like a demo, because there's no bass on it. It sounded so different from everything else out there and sounded kinda empty. They didn't want to release it, but Prince insisted and said they couldn't have another single until they released Kiss as is. Of course, Kiss turned out to be a massive hit, his 3rd #1 single, and he even won a Grammy for it. This song was a second wind of sorts and remains one of his biggest hits to this day. But we still have to answer the question, did Prince steal this song? Well, as we talked about at the beginning, a song goes on a long journey from demo to a finished track, but relating it back to our architecture metaphor, here's essentially what happened. Prince started building a house. He built the frame of it, put slats in for walls, spaces for windows, etc., and then passed it off to Maserati to finish construction. BrownMark and David Z put in the insulation, electrical, drywall, carpeting, and even furnished the house. Then one day when Maserati wasn't home, Prince threw out the couch, the artwork, added his own decor, and even ripped up the hardwood floors. Maserati comes back all, "WTF, bro?" And Prince goes, "This will be good for all of us. I'll split the commish." Warner Brothers was promised a house, but this house has issues. It doesn't even have floors, it's just wood slats down there. They don't want this thing. The floors are the base, in case this is not clear. But Prince is insistent. Warner Brothers eventually buys the house, but Prince doesn't split that commish. It ends up being one of the best houses that was ever built. Prince wins architectural awards, including Grammy for House of the Year, and Rolling Stone listed as number 85 on their list of best houses of all time. Did Prince write Kiss? Yes. Did Prince also steal Kiss? Kinda, yeah. All of my architectural nonsense aside, you should go listen to the acoustic demo of Kiss and the Maserati version. You'll be shocked at how much work they did to this song. And then of course, go listen to the final version because floors or not, it's still one of the best houses of all time. For more music history videos, check out the rest of my channel. Also, drop a comment and say what's up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.